Today, on Starfield Essentials, I answer a question that viewers ask me every week. What are my favorite HUD and API mods and tools? What do I use in my game? In this video, I'll discuss the overlays you see in my gameplay and a console API and web interface I use for troubleshooting. Some of this works on PC and console, and some only works on PC. My name is Richard. Let's get started. Background. First, some context. I require my HUD mods to be available on PC and console. All of the HUD mods I use are free and are available on Creations and Nexus Mods. Second, I'm not going to talk about making big changes to the UI. This means I will not talk about Star UI. What? While I think that's a fine piece of work, it's not something I use. Now, because these are UI mods, you'll see that on Creations, you usually have to select a specific version from several options. On Nexus Mods, you pick a single mod and configure it at installation time. Also, tools which extend Starfield's capabilities, like the API interface, are not available on console. Next, Ammo HUD. This mod gives you additional details on ammunition use in the lower right side of the screen. It's available free on Creations and Nexus Mods. On Creations, I use the long name variant. When you play on Creations, beyond the core mod, you'll likely need one or more patches for other weapons mods you might use. There are tons of these. This is just some on the first page of Creations. For example, a few that I use are Ammo HUD patch, the Incapacificator 3000, and Ammo HUD patch, TN's Plasma Laredo. This can get complicated fast. Pay attention to variants for magnetic weapon holsters, or Darkstar, or anything else beyond vanilla weapons. On Nexus Mods, you install a single mod, and then select patches through a menu. For example, here I choose to install as a plugin and not use loose files. I choose long labels instead of short or weapon icons only. And I select English as my language. Next, I choose the patches I want. Here I selected the OG Tennessee and XTC Refugee. Here I enable the patch for the Incapacificator 3000. I don't choose the magnetic weapon holster option. And that's how I configure Ammo HUD. Next, no scanner filter, no animation. My next two mods are by XV Punisher 007VX on Creations and Punish D on Nexus Mods. The first mod is No Scanner Filter Animation Full Screen Scanning, available free on Creations, and listed as NSFNA Ultimate No Scanner Filter No Animation Full Screen Scanning on Nexus Mods. I like this mod because of the changes it makes to the scanning display. Installing this mod on Creations is simple. You just add it to your game using the creation system. You get one specific set of changes, as offered by the modder. On Nexus Mods, you have to make some choices. There are 7 different options for configuring the scanner, plus 1 FPS selection. Here's the option I use, and I pick 60 FPS. If you want to see all 7 options explained, the mod description page lists all of them, as shown here. Next, Scanner Encumbrance Display with Time Vanilla Watch. The second mod is SED-WT-VW. I use the SED-WT-VW Enhanced Plus Black, available free on Creations, and SED-WT Ultimate Scanner Encumbrance Display with Time on Nexus Mods. I like the changes this mod makes to the watch display in the lower left side of the screen. If playing on Creations, pick the version you want and install it. If playing on Nexus Mods, you go through another selection process. You'll have to choose the following: vanilla watch color, black or white. I choose black. Health bar color, green, yellow, orange, red, or white, yellow, orange, red. I choose the first one. And language for the show power name on HUD. I choose English. The mod description has more details. You can also choose to show or hide enemies on the watch, choose a custom faction logo, and choose a language. Note there is also a tactical encumbrance display with time, or TED-WT Ultimate, for changing the tactical or gun display at the bottom right of the screen, but I don't use it. There is no equivalent to TED-WT on creations. Next, Console API and Web App. My next mod is available only on Nexus Mods. It's a DLL and additional code that gives a web interface to the game engine. Console API and Web Application by Stone GDI is available on Nexus Mods. This clever piece of code provides a lightweight HTTP server with a single post/console endpoint. It listens on TCP port 55555 for web connections. You can change this in the config file if you want. I really like using this mod because it makes it easier to interact with the game engine. For example, I can run a command, highlight the output, and copy it to a file. I can also copy it to something like Discord if I want to troubleshoot with another user. Be sure to add bealwaysactive = 1 under the general heading in your Starfield custom.ini file to keep the game running when you Alt-Tab into a web browser to use the console. Next, overlay performance monitors for PC. When I play on Steam, I use the Overlay Performance Monitor to get the statistics you see in the upper right side of the screen. You can choose this setup by selecting Steam Settings, In-Game, and FPS, CPU, GPU, and RAM details. When I play on Xbox for PC, I use the NVIDIA Performance Overlay with my NVIDIA GPU. Alt-Z brings up the menu, and I select the fields I want to see. When I play on PC, I want the most information possible about my system. That's why I enable the DLSS indicators that appear at the top and bottom left of my screen. The top left shows that frame generation via DLSS-G is enabled and what library version is in use. It also shows my Windows driver, the multiplier, and other information. The bottom left shows that I'm using DLSS upscaling. You can see that I'm using preset K and upscaling from 2224 by 1252 to 4K. That corresponds to balanced mode. I enabled this indicator using DLSS Swapper for PC by Beer Admore or Brad. You can also activate and deactivate these indicators via registry batch files as provided here. Now, if you want even more stats via something like CapFrameX or Mango HUD, let me know in a comment. I might create a video on that if there is enough interest. Thank you ProfX1527, PunishD, Stone GDI, Steam, NVIDIA, and Brad for your work. And thank you to all my subscribers. Please consider subscribing to show YouTube that you enjoy positive and honest Starfield content. Special thanks to all channel members. I hope you're enjoying our private Discord server. If you'd like to know more about membership, click the join button on the channel. There's no obligation. I use your contributions to pay for drives for capturing footage and to buy creations to review. What have you been doing in Starfield? Your insights make this channel a place for positive and honest discussion of the game. In addition to videos, I also post the community tab for this channel on a daily basis. If you subscribe, you'll see these posts in your YouTube feed. If you made it to this part of the video, please leave a comment with the word performance. Also, remember to ring the bell icon and select all notifications. Check out my other videos, and please tell your friends about the channel. My name is Richard. I will see you in the Starfield.